Okay, looks like it worked. Grateful about that because Facebook's not letting me go live directly from my page. So I am seeing if I can hack it, because there's always a way when you know there's a message to come through and it's important that people hear it. So I just found it stoked because I was not gonna walk away from this and not let the message come out that people need to hear. All right, let me see if I can share this how I usually do. And I'm doing it on my computer, so bear with me for a minute because this is really important. So share to feed. Okay, I think I'm getting it working. I think it's right because I haven't done it this way before. All right, it's a little bit different, but I think I'm figuring it out. Okay, more options. New skills, learning new skills this second. Hang on, that was the wrong group. See, I was concentrating. I was concentrating and jumping ahead of the gun or something. Okay. Oh, I don't know if that worked. Let me see. Okay, now here's the like real thing. Is it really working where I wanted it to work? Let me double check this because I don't know if it did. I don't know if it's working the way that I think it's working. Let me check. Let me check because Facebook's doing some weird things. I think it's working, right? I think it's working. Let me just double check. Hang on. Okay, it is. See, I found a way. I found a way and made sure. Hang on, but I've got to try and find, like, how do I navigate this on my, I think I have to do it this way. Okay, this is really weird. Where there's a will, there's a way. And this is like perfect example for what I'm talking about today. Sometimes your purpose is not meant for you. Sometimes there's not like the way that you think your purpose is meant to be, or you thought it was supposed to happen, whatever. Let me talk about this, but let me make sure I can bring these comments up first. Yes, I think it's working. Wow, I figured it out. That's the best. That's so good. Okay, we got it sorted. Yes. All right. Okay, so now I wanted to like think about what I was talking about because I just spent half an hour, almost 50 minutes trying to figure out how I can go live when Facebook's not letting me go live on my page, because I was in Transcendence Reality Society and we did our life purpose business mentoring training this morning, and this powerful message came through, and I wanted to share some of it here because I think it's really, really important that people hear this and understand, because not like your purpose, sometimes your purpose is not meant for you. Like it's pretty contradictory statement compared to like your purpose is your thing and you have to do it and find it and live it and all the things, right? However, it's not always what you think it is. Yeah. And I just want to make sure that the comments are coming through. Okay. Don't know if the comments, I'm going to steal the comments. So I'm sorry if I'm not like, yeah. Anyway, you guys will speak to me as you speak to me, because I want to make sure that I can see what I'm seeing and all those things as well. So, okay. So it was a really important message that came through in our Life Purpose Business Mentoring training this morning. And I even mucked up going live in there. Well, it wasn't letting me go live from my business page, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just a glitch. Hey, Phil. Hey, everybody. So this is a really important message because it's about finding out what part of your purpose is, where healing comes into it, and if this is really meant for you. And it's so important to remember, and this is like the most important thing that you'll ever take away from finding your purpose, what your purpose is, what is it that you need to do, like what is my purpose? Like it's the biggest question I get asked all the time, right? Sorry, I'm nervous about my finger. It's still healing. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Your purpose will distract you. Let's be real. It might seem like you're being distracted from your purpose, but actually you're learning different tasks along the way to your purpose. Some people have a really big picture vision, like I'm here to change the fucking world. Like that's what I am here for. That's what I'm born for. And that's what I know I'm here for. Now, not everybody will completely follow that purpose and completely follow that path, because not everyone is willing to do whatever it takes to birth their purpose in this world. The other point about that is that we think that we're here to do a certain thing. Like, for example, okay, so where am I going with this? Let's just like get it out. I'm sort of trying to do a story, but it's not working. Let's just talk about the thing. Some people are here to change the world, and some people are here to just heal people or help this person or do this or do that, right? And in that process, right, a lot of people drawn to psychic development, healing therapies, doing all this thing. And then they're like, okay, cool, I'm going to like heal people. And you need to get your business mindset on to do that, right? And the thing that trips people up, and they're like, I'm not meant to do this healing work. It's draining, it's tiring, it's whatever. It's because you're actually not balancing the two, so to speak, because when you step into doing this as work, you need to remember you're creating a business, and not everyone is willing to learn what it is and what they need to do to be able to run a successful business. Now, success is really defined by your own terms. There's no real definition of success, true story. However, if you're going to, for you to find your purpose, it's really about, am I doing this healing work to heal myself? Or am I doing this healing work to heal myself and to then teach it to others? Or does it get to a point that I then go and do something else? And the biggest piece about that is trusting yourself if you know where those changes are and where the next evolution of your purpose is. Because not everyone is here. Like, you know, I always talk about like build your empire and create your dreams and do the big things. And a lot of people sort of come to me, or they're like nervous to talk to me because they're like, well, I don't have those big dreams. I don't know what it is that I'm meant to do, but I just like doing this healing work. And they're scared to talk to me or work with me or do the things, because a big part of it is understanding that not everybody's purpose is to change the world, right? I know I always harp on about that because I know that I'm here to change the world and to support the awakening of the consciousness of humanity and the process. And when you're getting clear about what your purpose is, a lot of people are drawn to the healing work because, let's face it, in this reality and in this society, we've got a bucket load of trauma from the way that society's been raised and all the eons and the implants and all the things that, you know, we could go into different realities of talking about different realms of things here, right? Let's be real about that. And there's a reason why people are drawn to healing modalities, because there's parts of us that we need to heal, right? Unless you grew up in a generation and with parents that had beautiful, conscious parents and they loved you to bits and they did all the things, right? Like everybody's got some level of healing to do. Yeah, in some way, shape, or form, for whatever length of time. Yeah, there's always something. It's called personal development, it's called spiritual evolution of your growth of consciousness, whatever you want to label it. Yeah. And again, the key is like understanding when you're being called to continue this healing path forever, or when it gets to a certain point and you're like, oh, I'm not actually drawn to doing this anymore. Do you trust yourself enough to go on to and find whatever that is that you are? Like you'll get to a certain point and it'll be like, oh my God, I'm drawn to doing this thing and I'm not feeling called to do that anymore. Like, can you trust yourself to do that? Or is it the evolution of you stepping into your business, or the evolution of your business recalibrating and going to the next level so you can help more people? And maybe you're not being called to help people at all, ever, whatsoever. And can you understand your purpose and the intricacies of trusting yourself enough to back yourself to walk away from a path that you thought was meant for you and it was so alive for you, and now you're just like, I don't want to do that anymore? Or are you just in a recalibration to the expansion of it? Sometimes your purpose is not meant for you. the trick or the key is deciphering which one are you at right now? Which pathway are you at? Are you at an evolution of an expansion into the recalibration of something that's trying to birth out of you? Or are you simply not meant to do that anymore because something else is calling you and you're ignoring that like thing that's ignoring you, which actually is the path, which is why you were drawn to doing the healing work to the capacity that you did, so that you could be in a place to receive that thing over there. Right? When people start healing and they start, going through all the, healing things, and they're like, this is amazing. And like, we think it's our purpose. And sometimes it is. And sometimes we're meant to like expand and build empires and change the world. And sometimes we're just meant to work in a healing industry. And sometimes we're meant to do something completely different. I feel like there's a message for you if you're watching this to really get clear. Like if you're feeling lost, or you're like, or, you'll be lit up by one of these three that I just said. You're expanding into the next level of your empire. You're actually just meant to work in a healing industry, or you're meant to do something completely different. And knowing the difference is knowing yourself and not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and understanding where you're being called for your purpose at this minute in time. Because the reality is it's not a straight line. It'll feel like you're going off track. It'll feel like you're being distracted. It'll feel like you're doing all these other things. And you're like, I should be doing that. But you're like so alive to do these other things. Like, can you trust that you're being called to these other things because you're meant to do that right now? And you'll know in yourself, because it won't go away. It'll be something that has always been there. And it doesn't go away. Even if you walk away from it because you're like, but I need to do this other thing. It's like, good, trust that. Because it's actually not a distraction. It's actually part of, like if you're here and then you're expanding to this next evolution of self, right? And it's expanding. And you're being drawn over to this other thing. It's just that it goes to sleep for a moment. It's not really sleep, but it is in a way. And what's happening is this learning over here is actually expanding moving you up to here. But you needed this to also do this. It's not one or the other, it's all of it. And it's all important and it's all part of your purpose. The question is, do you trust that? Do you trust yourself in the myth of the unknown? Because in the unknown is all the possibilities, is all the solutions, is all the answers. But a lot of people are not strong enough, committed enough, dedicated enough, understand the path of their purpose enough that we go through these recalibration holes. We go through these recalibration points. We go through a death of the soul, of the old human consciousness over and over and over again. Just like we lose hair, just like a snake sheds its skin, just like it does whatever. Like, it's normal for a shedding to happen while we're still living. And our consciousness and our purpose and the evolution of what we're here to do is exactly the same. Does anyone have any questions about their purpose? Pop them in as I'm talking. This whole activation through your purpose, I feel that everybody is like coming into, and I've said this for a little while, like maybe the last 12 months, I've noticed there's so many people that are just like upping and moving, like whether you're physically moving country or house or relationship or career. There's so many, like I know people doing that all the time, but it's been really noticeable that people are just like, oh, I'm not doing that anymore. And then in the last 6 weeks, so many people just had like so much clarity, and they're just like, whoa, this is it. This is the path. This is the thing. This is that. And what's happening in consciousness and in the collective at the moment is that we're being pulled into position of this symbiotic flow. And the thing is that you might not be called to be having a healing business and doing this for work. You might be being called to work for someone else. You might be being called to do something completely that you never thought you'd do. And yet you're so happy and coming into your heart and remembering that, oh my God, this is who I am. It's not what you thought it would be, but it's even better. And as a collective, we're being pulled into place right now for the symbiotic flow. Our purpose is not always to build an empire. Our purpose is to follow our heart, no matter what that looks like. Because when you remember God's creation and the beautiful flowers that open so the bees can come and pollinate and create honey and other flowers and spread the seeds or whatever, everything's working in a symbiotic flow. Nothing is like, oh, you've got too many flowers open, that wasn't planned, like, or whatever. I don't know. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's like everything is in a symbiosis. Everything is just working in harmony. And when every single human on this planet is trusting themselves enough to follow that, that's when there'll be peace on earth. That's when there is the symbiotic flow. Yeah? That's when there is this trust. That's when there is the peace on earth that we've been looking for, when it's here. And people feel that when they're following their path. People feel that when they're trusting themselves to follow this other than what they thought they should do. And there's a lot of people that are flicking out of that right now and coming into this. And thank goodness for the last 2 years, because, you know, this world chaos stuff, we don't need to label it, we know what it is, because it's making everybody reassess. And it's making everybody go, well, bugger this, I'm going to do this. Yeah, in a very big way. So Goddess Codes only has a few more days. This is the activation of such a deep aspect of yourself, and you will feel Goddess Codes coming through you, calling you. And this is working with me 4 months one-on-one. And there's obviously distance healing, psychic readings. Of course, we do that in the space. There's phone calls. There's the one-on-one support via Telegram or WhatsApp. It's every day, back and forth. If you require, like, whatever is needed in this space is required and held as you activate and deeply step into this part of you, this deep centered surrendered trust, this space where there is the unknown. This is where you've broken out of every shell and now you're vulnerable and you don't know which way to go. This is where you can feel the next level about to bust out and then the shell is about to pop out, but you're just like, oh, there's something, and it's here and you can feel it. And this is what Goddess Codes is about, being able to hold you in this space and accelerate those pieces that are like the flittering butterflies that are like coming out of you, right? So Goddess Codes, send me a message. If you want the details so that it is working one-on-one, send me a message. We can have a chat if it's the right program for you or not. You will feel it in your soul though. So I know you'll send me a message because you'll feel that. So Emmy says, I just read my letter from you and it hit hard. So there's a beautiful letter from Trust Intuition. It's so exciting that it arrived to you. I'm wondering if that's why I've been struggling so much to step up and into starting my business. That's the thing, right? Sometimes the business isn't for us. Sometimes working in a healing industry is for us and working for somebody else. Sometimes it's doing something completely different, because sometimes we get to a point in our healing that actually we just needed to heal that so we can function in society, so that we can just do whatever makes us happy. And that might be working, I don't know, at your local supermarket. Like, there's no like right or wrong in what you're being called to do, but the point is, do you trust yourself enough to do that? Yeah. Yes. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna love you guys and leave you. There was a message about your purpose and I made it happen on Zoom, because I was like determined to get this message out to you. It was very important. So when there's a will, there's a way, and you'll always do anything to make it happen if it's right for you. And if not, maybe there's something else that you're meant to do. Because when you find that thing, right, when you find the thing that you know you're meant to do, when you find your why, when you recalibrate and you're like, this, right, you will find a way. You will make anything happen. There will be no excuses. Money won't be an excuse. Time won't be an excuse. Energy won't be an excuse. Because when there is something that you really want to do, you will freaking do that. If you want to catch up with a friend and you've got all this other stuff going on and you really want to see that person, you're going to like clear your calendar and go, yeah, I can be there. And then you'll be like, okay, I'll get back to that later. Like, you make anything happen. If you really want to buy that thing, you'll find money to buy that thing, whether you save for it or you do whatever you do, you'll buy that thing. If you want that particular car, you'll do that thing. Like, let's be real here. It's never about the money. people say to me, oh, I can't afford it. And I'm like, hey, actually, you can. You're just choosing to place your money somewhere else. And you don't want to create money problems when you actually don't have money problems, because you still pay your rent, you still buy your food, you still put petrol in your car, I'm sure. So it's not really about the money. You're just choosing to put your money into your petrol in your car, or your food, or your rent, or your mortgage, or whatever it is. Like, let's be real. Let's not create stuff where it's not like a problem. Okay, because when we really want to do something, we will find a way. Just like this live stream, like it's not letting me go live on my page from my business page for some reason. I can go live from Hannah, but I wanted to go live on my business page, and I'm like, well, I'm going to find a way. I had to set a webinar time. I had to wait half an hour for the time like to come around so I could press live, but I waited here. I was multitasking, doing other things, of course, but I was like, I'm not walking away from this computer until this message comes out. Because this is important, that you have to remember that when there is something that you really, really want, and you want to create, and you want to change your life because of blah, 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 you will find a way. And you will be given all the time, resources, money, energy, all the things from God, from the universe that you need. But you have to start moving first. They don't just turn up, you're waiting around like, okay, cool, I'm going to do this thing. I'll just wait now. That doesn't happen like that. You do it, and then it comes in, and then the support's there, and you'll probably be knocked down by a lot of people on the way. And whether you get up or not is whether your why is strong enough and you're clear about why you're doing this in the first place. Because if you're like, oh yeah, I'm meant to do my purpose and be like, build an empire and all this thing, and you're only doing that because people have said that, and you actually haven't tuned in, like, is that actually what I meant to do for me? You won't know. You won't make time for it. You won't make time for it. You won't have the energy for it. And by the way, we don't always have the energy for things. We find the energy for things. Like, you have to take your kids to school, but I'm too tired, I'm just going to sleep in. The kids can just sort themselves out. No, you don't do that. You get the energy. You find it from somewhere, and you get up and you take your kids to school. Let's be real, okay? There is no excuse about any of it whatsoever, freaking ever. Yeah, you will always find a way if you really, 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 really want something. That's the reality. Do you agree? Let me know. Let me know. Monique says, goosebumps and tears. Confirmation. Thank you. You're so very welcome. You're so welcome. Emmy says, working with Hannah is the best decision you will ever make. Huge leaps. Yeah, I love having you in the space, and so proud of the work you've done, Emmy. I love sending out those letters. Like, I wrote handwritten letters. I pulled a card. So with the Trust Intuition training manuals that I sent to all my students for our course, I wrote, when I posted them, I wrote handwritten note from me to you, and pulled a card and sent it to you guys. That's what you're talking about before. I'm just telling people, because you're like, I got your letter. And I'm like, yeah. Finally, I'm so glad. Worldwide postage, so interesting how long it takes in different places. Yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah, it's never about the money. It's never about the money. It's never about the issues. It's never about any of that. It's whether you actually want to do the thing or not. And it's good to be honest with yourself if you really want to do it or not. Because in the 12 divine steps to awakening your life purpose, number one step is honesty. If you're not honest with whether you actually want something or not, if you're like thinking you have to do it because you have to do this to get to A to B to, that's what they said, right? If you're not honest, you're going, I actually don't want that. You're going to be like living someone else's purpose, and you wonder why it's not work, and you're getting sick, and you're just exhausted all the time, and it's hard. Like, it's hard to do anything, okay? Especially when you're learning new skills and you're doing all this, like, it's hard, okay? But there's a different hard when it's actually not meant for us. We'll find resistance, addictions, avoidance techniques. Everything will be like, right, like you might put on weight, you might do this, like all these things, because you actually don't want to do it, and you're just lying to yourself that you're trying to like force something, and you're like, I don't want to do that. And when you're honest with yourself, divine step number one in finding your life purpose, awakening your life purpose, I should say, is being honest. What is the honest reflection and honest reality that I'm like choosing here. That's the number one thing to ask you, like, do you really want this thing? And I think I've been posting about this a lot, actually. It's like, well, actually, is it what you want? Are you settling for something because you think that that has to be that way? Yeah. Jade says, sometimes we have to be open to surrender to find a different way than what we initially thought was the way. Exactly. And yes. And Jade says, honesty and open-mindedness for sure. Exactly. Like sometimes we know we want something and it's a feeling and we're drawn to things and we try things because it's like, yeah, like we resonate with that thing. But sometimes the structure of that is not what we want, or it's not meant for us, but we're meant to be in it somehow. And this is where I was saying, like, your purpose will distract you. And what I mean by that is sometimes we're drawn to certain things and all these different things, and we're like finding a way because we're trying to figure it out. We know, but we're like, but how? Because our purpose is not a straight line. And it's like all these things we've needed, like I said, to like move to this next level. We wouldn't be here if we didn't do all that. And like, here it is. But sometimes when it reaches that point, it's just like, I don't know anymore. I'm just whatever. And it's almost like we walk away from it. It's almost like we give up. It's almost like, but that's surrender. It's not the forcing, but we're still taking the steps. We're still taking the actions. We're still doing the things that we know we're meant to do, but in a different energy state in a way. It's like, yeah, but whatever, but I know I have to do this. I'm going to turn up, but whatever. And sometimes it's like the whatevers for a while. And then we hit the ball running, hit the ground running, and we're like, yes, this, and we come alive again because all of that needed to recalibrate to our next level as well. And just like I was sharing before about the flower and the bee comes in and the honey, and they've all got their purposes, right? And they all work in symbiotic synergy, like it's just effortless. Sometimes, like your next level is like everything else is like, everything's always evolving in reality and in consciousness. So everything needs to evolve and shift with you and together. And sometimes there's a divine timing that comes into that. And sometimes we need to push, sometimes we need to surrender, and sometimes we need to be open to all of it anyway. So open-mindedness is divine step number 2 in awakening your life purpose. If you haven't gone through my 12 divine steps to awakening your life purpose, please comment purpose in the comments below and we'll get that video series to you. It's a 12 steps. It's 12 videos. It's a free video series that you can watch and go through and awaken your life purpose. And Sophia says they were beautiful. It was so much appreciated. Yeah, the beautiful letters. From my heart to yours. I think there's something different about handwritten letters these days, right? Everything is like text and phone, and yeah, something special about handwritten letters. Maybe it's just me because it's like my childhood of like, there's a letter from Nana and there's money in it and stuff. Have you guys seen, there was like this story that I shared a little while ago and it was so funny. It's like trying to ignore the money from my like Nana or whatever, and he's like opening the card and all this money falls out. He's like, oh, you guys, you're so kind, like about his birthday card and shit. And it's like trying to ignore the money. It's so hilarious. I was like, oh my god, that's like what happens. Oh no, there's so money in here. Like I don't know if people do that anymore these days, do they? Maybe it's just an older generational thing. I don't know. It's pretty funny. It's more personal, yes. There's so much more personal and thoughtfelt. Yeah, definitely heartfelt from my heart to yours. All right, Goddess Codes is the final days to work one-on-one with me. Even if you think you can't afford it and it's calling your soul, I would definitely reach out, send me a message, because it's not about that you can't, it's about where you're choosing to place your time, energy, money, and the next level expansion or not. So send me a message. If it calls to you, it's 4 months working one-on-one with me. We shift so much in 4 months. I love working with people in these containers because it deeply holds such a transformative space. And it's interesting that it even called to be 4 months. Usually it's a 3-month container that I work with people. In the past it has been. This is the first time I've done a 4-month container. And even the energy of the whole thing itself to start with is different, because there's always the three, triple goddess, triple triad, three, 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 three. Like, whereas that's an uneven number, and it's a very different vibration to four. Four is a very balanced number. It brings in the divine masculine and feminine in a balance. The four is it's a stronger, I want to say a stronger, sturdier container. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's got a different feel to it to even begin with. So I'm really excited to work with you over 4 months. If it calls you, send me a message, and remember, keep it real. Check in with your purpose, because maybe it's not meant for you, but some aspect of it might be. But it's important to trust your intuition and understand, am I recalibrating? Am I not meant for this? Is it something I need to push through, work through, learn more about, learn a different thing to support my purpose coming out into the world? Or am I being called to tune into my heart, and what is my purpose actually? Where am I being called to? Is it something completely different, or am I expanding to the next level? I love you guys.